Gazette.
Kyle, just how much more settled were you from last week to this week? I guess how big is that one start to be able to rely on, not to settle in early today?
Yeah, for sure. I think anytime you can get that start under your belt and especially get a win against a good Big Ten team like Indiana, it's good for sure. And then you just use that confidence and that experience you got from that first week and carry it on the second week. And, now the goal is to use, what I learned this week and carry it on the next week and just keep that train rolling.
Over to the left, Rob Aller, Columbus Dispatch.
You think you did enough to win the job outright?
I don't know. I mean, that's not up to me. That's a question for Coach Day. And like I said earlier, I think the only thing I'm worried about is whenever I'm on the field, just making the most out of my opportunities. And, if that's every single drive, then that's great. If it's, every other drive, that's great. If it's one drive, it's great. Whatever opportunities I get, that's what I'm going to try to make the most out of.
You came out of last week, I'm sure, wanting another throwback or to do something differently. What did you do today that you were happy about that maybe you didn't do last week?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is just coming out of the gate and just, trusting my reads, trusting my arm, trusting the players around me. And I think we showed flashes of that last week for sure, but we were just spotty. And I feel like, especially in the first half today, came out strong and got things going. I got the ball in the receiver's hands, and they did some really good things after the catch. We aired it out a little bit, so I think it was a good mixture. And as long as we can continue to build that, I think we'll be in a really good spot offensively.
I'm going to pause for just a second. People, if we could stay out of the middle area there, that way the camera gets a shot of Kyle and not back of people's heads. Over here to the right, Bill Rabinowitz, Columbus Dispatch.
You obviously connected with Marvin twice early for touchdowns. How important was that? And did I imagine back when you were at St. Joe's Prep, you thought about days like this, having days like this. Is that right?
Yeah. No, it was cool. I think that was my first touchdown to Marvin in college. So that was cool to finally see it come all the way from, when we first started playing with each other sophomore year of high school to now. It's been a long time coming. And like I said, just continue to use that momentum and continue to use that experience and grow and, hopefully create more of those.
Over to the left, Spencer Holbrook, Letterman Row.
To get a pretty, easy touchdown on the first drive, how much does that help you going into a game, whereas last week you might not have started so quickly, but this week you get that under your belt right away? How much does that help your confidence?
Yeah, I think last week we did score in the first drive. It was a little tough, and I think we ended up running it in. And then I think this week when Marvin breaks open like that and you hit him, and I think it was a 70-yard touchdown or something like that, that's definitely a really good momentum boost. And we just have to continue doing a good job of being consistent and continuing. Even if we don't pop a touchdown like that, just going down and putting a methodical drive together and scoring.
Over to the right, Nathan Baird, Cleveland.com.
Kyle, Coach Day's been making a big deal about the reduced number of possessions that you guys have been getting these first 2 weeks, and not even necessarily number of plays, but those possessions kind of compress things. How do you kind of get through that mentally? Because on the one hand, you want to make the most of those possessions, I guess you always do, but you don't want to, be pressing and trying to do too much with them.
Yeah, I think that has been a little bit bigger and important to the game than I think any of us realized. If you don't get the ball first and the other team goes down, puts together 11, 12 play drive, you look up, you're halfway through the first quarter and you haven't even touched the ball yet. So I think it just makes you realize every single possession matters, every single play matters. And I think today in the third quarter, we started out, we went 3 and out, and I think we didn't touch the ball, I could be wrong, until like 3 minutes left in the third quarter. It's crazy just how fast the clock moves, but that just goes to show you have to make the most. When you got the ball, you have to go down and score and put points up on the board.
Over to the left, Katie Kapusta, Spectrum.
Kyle, Coach Day said a couple of words about how composed, how efficient you seemed today and comfortable. Can you talk a little bit about just the emotions and what you were feeling today versus last week?
Yeah, I think last week, especially first start of the new year, season opener, on the road, Big Ten team, there's a lot that goes into it. And I wouldn't necessarily call them distractions, but there's just a lot of things that go into that game. And once you get that game over with, got the win, and then got into the flow of a normal week with the practice schedule, and then just our routine, and just kind of eased into it a little bit more so than I would say the first week. So I think definitely the emotions are just more calm more than anything. I feel like so. I think that definitely helps in the long run.
Over here to the right, Clay Hall, WSYX.
Similar question. Did you sense your heart rate was calmed down a tad today? You weren't hyperventilating?
Yeah, no. I think the biggest thing, like I said, is just, taking a deep breath and realizing it's football. It's the same game you've been playing since, I was 5 years old in the backyard, so.
How do you think Devin played today?
I think Devin did well. I think this was really his first live action where he got to open the offense up a little bit, got to throw it. He made some really good throws, some really good runs. I think flashes athleticism. I think he had a really good play on third down where there really wasn't anything open. He scrambled out, found G. Scott for a first down. So I think he played really well.
Cameron Teague Robinson, the athletic, over here to the right.
Kyle, as both you and Devin kind of get more comfortable in this offense and you guys try to get the offensive line more comfortable as well, how beneficial is it to have a healthy Travion Henderson who has looked as good as he had even going back to his freshman year?
Yeah, Trey had a great fall camp, looked really good, and I think kind of had that explosive step that maybe he didn't have last year because he was hurt a little bit, but a healthy Travion Henderson is scary, and I think he's shown flashes of it, last year, and then I think this year with him starting to get healthy again and getting his feet under him, you see it, how electric he is, and we've been using him out of the backfield too. I think we threw 2 screens to him today and had some good success on that. So I think any way that we can get the ball in Trey's hands, it's a win for the Buckeyes.
We got time for 2 more questions. Over to the left, Andy Backstrom, Letterman Row.
Kyle, what has been your assessment of the offensive line so far, and what kind of improvements or what did you see from week 1 to week 2, I guess?
Yeah, I think the offensive line is probably one of the most important positions in terms of everybody just being on the same page, because receiver, you can be a one-man show and kind of win your route and all that, but the line, they have to do a really great job of communicating. All 5 of them have to be on the same page, and I feel like we're doing a good job. Obviously, I don't think we are where we want to be yet, but looking back on last week and then I think how we played this week, definitely a step in the right direction. And we got 5 really talented guys across the board, 5 guys who are really tough too. So I think just as an offense in general, it's just about taking that next step, and I think the O-line is included in that.
And final question over to the right, Stephen Means, Cleveland.com.
Kyle, what's one thing you liked about what you did today, one thing you didn't like, and if you had to give yourself a grade, what would it be?
A grade, it's hard to give myself a grade without watching the film. I think the one thing that I did a good job today is just getting the ball out on time to the playmakers, getting it to them in open space and allowing them to work. And I think good things happen with that for sure. And then one thing I wish I had back was probably that pass in the third quarter on that first drive. Missed it to Marvin. I just got to sit on that a little bit more, let him get open, let him work. But definitely some good, some bad, kind of the same as last week. Take the good and build from it, and then take the negatives and realize what you need to work on and continue to grow.
Great. Kyle, thank you very much.
Thank you. Appreciate it.